The question is, what does it mean? Feels good to get the win. Are we turning a corner or not? That's the question we all want to know. We've won 2 out of 4. We won against Boston handedly. Then we lost against Columbus. Got a little goal lead, and then this game we beat St. Louis. We struggled to do so. One of the worst teams in the league. So I don't know yet. I'm hoping that we are, but I couldn't tell you definitively. And honestly, we probably are really not going to know whether we're coming out of this until after we play St. Louis next again, and then we play Vegas and the Utah Mammoth on a rematch of that Mammoth game where we lost here recently. And so those 2 games I think are going to be the real tell of whether this team is turning a corner or not. When you look at this game, we had 2 of our goals come on the power play, and we we went 1-for-1 at even strength with the St. Louis Blues. We were out hit again. We were outshot again. So it's really hard to tell what's what at this point. But you see some good things happening, and then there's a little distortion in some of the back to back business, and you don't like to see when you looked at our shots on goal. It was 10 in the first period, and then I believe it was 5 and then 4. And how much of that is exertion? How much of that is just the Stars not having consistency? Really hard to tell. And that's kind of I guess the theme of this one is it's really hard to tell what we're dealing with here. But you're seeing maybe some ice thaw, hopefully. So Robo with his heroics. Wyatt, 1 goal, 1 assist. He now pulls closer. He's got 17 power play goals to tie Jamie Benn's mark at second, only behind Mike Modano here in Dallas. That's not Minnesota. That's a different record altogether, but he's got a shot at both. And I think we're going to see him break this Mike Modano record sooner rather than later at the pace that he's going. So that's awesome to see. Robo has 1 goal, 1 assist. He's got 30 goals on the year. We had the return of the Messiah, which was good to see. He was obviously not 100%, but good for him for soldiering up and getting out there. We also saw the return of Montgomery, our old coach here. So that's an interesting one. Let's go through the scoring a little bit. We already went through the Robo goal, but we'll go through the rest. Johnston starts off the scoring, a point shot from Miro that was tipped by Wyatt. There's a save, and then Wyatt puts the rebound from outside the crease, high corner in. That gives us the early lead, but they would come back. The Blues would score a few minutes later. Lindell gets poke checked from behind, and there's a turnover in the D zone off of that, and there's a one-timer through traffic above the near side face-off dot, which hits Otter's glove and tumbles in. Otter saw it. That's a shot that he'd probably want back. Then in the second period, we actually lost the lead to the St. Louis Blues. Buchnevich got a goal. Steele misses the puck cut off behind the net on the St. Louis side of the ice. And it goes the other way on us, and there's a blast of a one-timer by Buchnevich from a neighbor's nasty no-look across the danger zone pass low to the other side where Buchnevich would beat Otter high glove. I wouldn't put that one on Otter. Then we would tie it up in the second period. Duchesne on the power play. So that's our second power play goal of the game there. Robo gets the zone entry, drops for Wyatt, who dishes to Duchesne on the wing, skating towards the net, who beats, Duchesne beats Bennington high glove or high stick rather on a ripper from the circle. And yeah, he did not Mickey Mouse around with that puck. He got off his stick very, very quickly. And it's good to see Duchesne putting up some points for us here. So then in the third period, we would get the game winner with 1 minute left on that beauty from Robertson. Um, great clutch goal from him. So Hintz would have 2 assists on the night and 4 hits to lead the team, which is good to see the big man throwing the body around. Um, and yeah, so we over the course of the game, outside of the clutch finish, we kind of faded in a lot of areas. We really owned the game in the first period, and then it sort of started to slip away. And you saw it in the shots on goal on our end. St. Louis, the same thing, but in reverse of us. They went up in their shots on goal with each period. They only had 3 in the first period, where we owned possession. Then they had 9 in the second and 10 in the third. So Dallas only had 9 shots in the last 2 periods, and we ended up having 6 more turnovers than St. Louis. So I wouldn't say that it was the prettiest of wins, but we got it done, and we kept St. Louis from getting any points. And they're the St. Louis Blues are struggling. They are really struggling. I know they've had some injuries, but I thought that this was a team that was going to be in the playoff mix and maybe even a contender this year after the good work that they did to finish the season last year and then in the playoffs last year. So interesting Central Division this year, and it's going to be an interesting finish all the way to the end. So the next one is again with the St. Louis Blues, and that one will be a fun one. It's always good when you have a back to back and you get a little bit of that rival. It's already a pretty good rivalry, but when you stack 2 of them back to back, sometimes you have some fireworks. Let's hope for some fireworks. And you guys stay warm, drip your faucets, be careful on that ice, and don't hurt yourself out there. Don't drive if you don't have to. And I look forward to talking to y'all about the next one.